Hello, who said that? Who's yelling? Hi! It's kind of hard for me to see because of the lights.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so
Thanks
excited
for
to
having
talk
me.
to you. So first of all, we're going to start off. So we have what we like to call the instant challenge.
Oh my gosh,
So
okay.
pick box 1 or box 2, and I will reveal what is in it a little bit later.
Number 1 or number 2, guys? Oh, that is a resounding, a very loud and politely, but a little aggressive 2. We'll go with 2.
We're going to
Yeah.
go 2. All right. Now the anticipation
Thank you.
starts. So first of all, thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited to talk to you. So how has VidCon been treating you this year so far?
Oh my God, it's been so good. Like, I've been here every year, 7 years. Really excited to be, yeah. Anybody here, 7 years? I know you, 7 years. Martha, there you are. It's been incredible. Like every single year, somehow it gets better and better. And I always like say, this is the best one ever. Like, how is it always so good? And every single time they make like massive improvements, not just for creators, but for viewers. And like they treat everyone so well, and it's just been incredible.
What do you think like the biggest difference from the very first VidCon till now has been?
Oh my God, there are so many. The first VidCon was just, it was so small and like, it was kind of like a, we're here, like a quiet, like we deserve to be heard and we need some support and attention. And now it's like, we're here.
Yeah.
We got all this, I mean, there's like a ton, I mean, all the sponsorships and everybody that's coming in to support this community is just incredible. Like the growth has been unreal, but I mean, it's reflective of the hard work that, you know, people like John and Hank and Laura and all their team and everybody put into this event. I mean, it's like their child, and everybody in the community who's been around for so long knows and loves them and loves to support what they do because they love and support us. So.
Yeah. Well, sidebar, I feel like that's why, so Instant is like the reason we're kind of on the stage right now. So people in Entertainment Weekly have this new mobile-first video platform, and we thought, like, what better place than VidCon to kind of display it? And it's all about celebrating the digital community and creators and everything like that. So we get to talk to fun people like you. So it's been a blast. So first of all, Oh, also, if you have questions for her during the interview, we're going to check Twitter a little bit later, so make sure to tweet your questions at instant.me, and she might answer it,
right
you guys.
here.
You might. I'll leave it up here just in case you guys forget. So you basically, I feel like, live the dream. You get to travel everywhere. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? What would you say has been one of the best, I mean, you go to so many places, but what would you say has been your best trip ever?
That's a really hard question. I mean, I love going on trips with Kentucky. I don't think I can pick just one, but I will say that like working with them, not just as a brand, but like I become really good friends with the people that work on our road trips every year, which is just like for those of you guys who don't know, it's just like a YouTube trip with YouTubers, and we do like a little Kentucky tour, and we do little challenges, and the viewers have a chance to win something like a trip, which is really great. And those trips have just been so great because I love travel, and when I travel on my own, it's a great experience, and I kind of curate what I want to do, and it's like in my control and everything. But when I go on trips with other people, especially people who haven't had the chance to travel that much, that is a really fun experience for me to kind of get to see it from their perspective and to kind of be not forced, but presented with opportunities to do things that I probably wouldn't choose on my own. Yeah. So it definitely gets me outside my comfort zone and allows me to get like a really unique experience in many different places. I can't pick just one. It's way too hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's probably trips where, you know, you've gone somewhere and it's like, oh, I think it's gonna be this way. Like, have you ever been like underwhelmed with a place where you like built it up in your head and then you got there and you're like, it was okay?
I'm like, I don't wanna insult anyone here. Places that I've been that were
or just maybe one that like
underwhelming.
wasn't what you expected, and it could be like in a good way too, you know, where it surprised you.
Yeah, I've never really. I mean, I'm stoked about like everything, so it's pretty hard for me to be underwhelmed by something. Oh no, you know what? I will say this. I'm gonna get in trouble. Jeez. Okay. The Vatican was incredible. It was massive and beautiful, but it just was like it didn't I didn't get any kind of feeling there. I'm not a particularly religious person, and I imagine that someone who is religious would have a very different experience than I did. And it was incredible to see the Sistine Chapel and you know, the murals in the ceiling, the paintings, and all the art is beautiful. But the place itself is just very big and kind of like cold on the outside. Again, it was amazing. God, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for saying all of this.
No,
I love you, Rome. I'm just kidding.
So obviously you mentioned road trips. What kind of music do you like to listen to when you go on road trips? Like a little bit of everything, or?
I like a lot of different kinds of music. I feel like everyone says, "Oh, I listen to everything," but it's like, I mean, it's true. I love international music, like anything from Britney Spears to like J-pop, like Maximum the Hormone is like this Japanese like pop rock / metal band. I don't even know how to describe it. I love like French rap, and I love like house music, and I mean the cool thing is like back to the Kentucky trips again, they always do our day song, so we always have this song that's picked out by someone who organized the trip, and they play it every morning when we're together, and it's meant as like a start to the day, but also after the trip is concluded, a reminder of the trip itself, which is really fun. And it's great to kind of have that memory. And it's usually a song that's like popular on the radio at the time. So when we hear it, you know, in a couple months, when we're back home, we can be reminded of the travels.
Have you ever, I feel like road trips can get really scary if you're kind of going somewhere you don't know, and if the road, like, have you ever had an experience where you're like, oh, I might die? Like,
well, we got, I was on a trip with my best friend Datev and her boyfriend Kevin. We were driving to Yosemite. This was a couple of years ago. And we went we drove, it was nighttime. We were trying to make the trip back home. We were all really tired. And I just talked to someone about this and I can't remember, there's a pass that's open. That's a kind of quick way to get there, but it was closed because of the weather. So we had to take the super long way around, and we ended up going in the wrong direction for probably 2 or 2.5 hours. Like we didn't even realize, and there were no signs, and we had just spent so much time, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to make it to a gas station. Like it was not good, but we made it. Kevin was a very great and safe driver, and we're all good, and it was a great trip. But yeah, that was not fun.
That sounds terrifying. That's like probably everybody's like worst nightmare. At least
yeah,
like
it was pretty scary.
With airports, it's like there's going to be planes there if you miss your flight. Or have you ever missed a flight?
I have.
Tell me about it. Tell me all about it.
It was so bad. I think it was when I was flying standby. I don't remember where I was going. I've been in so many airports for so long. It's like I can't keep it straight. But yeah, I missed like the bag cut off, and I couldn't not check my luggage because of the like liquid size I had in there. This is not very exciting, but I wasn't going to leave without my stuff, and I just ended up having to sit on the airport floor for like 4 hours and wait for the next flight. And the woman was so rude to me, and I was like so upset. I was just so tired. I wanted to get home, and yeah, it was not good. So be on time for flights, guys, because that can ruin your whole trip.
Punctuality is key.
Very important.
So you are so knowledgeable about all the places where you visit. Like, how does when you plan a trip, what does like the research process kind of look like for you?
I try to do like the kind of quick stuff on Wikipedia, but the biggest sort of resource for me usually is local people. I mean, I try to, once I get there, I have that little background information that I've gathered beforehand, you know, reading articles by other travel bloggers and bloggers, just looking at quick little stuff on Google. But once I get there, I try to ask a little bit more, just get a little bit more detail about the background and the culture and the history from a person who lives there, because, you know, it's like anything else. I mean, I've talked about this before with respect to learning foreign language. Like, I studied Spanish in college, and I studied a few different languages, and it was really great. And I had a really solid academic background in language, but it's nothing like going to the place and speaking to a native speaker. Like, I didn't know any slang. I don't know how to say really basic things, because everything was kind of based around like academic context. So I struggled a lot with communicating effectively on a kind of day-to-day basis. So there's nothing as effective or valuable as really just speaking to someone who has lived that life and experienced that and is an expert in their own hometown. So that's kind of my big source, is people who have either studied the history and culture and are interested in it themselves, or I ask people who I know have given tours, or, you know, people on the street.
I was gonna say, like, have you ever just like asked a random person for advice on something And it ended up like, I remember one time my family, we were like in New York and this guy overheard us talking about like Chinese food and he's like, go to this place. Like, have you ever had anything like that happen where it's just like,
yeah.
And we ended up like loving it. Like,
yeah.
has that ever happened to you?
Definitely. I've had some great recommendations. As a matter of fact, I was traveling with Lindsay DeFranco in Thailand a few years ago, actually kind of a long time ago now. And we were on the street and clearly we're lost. We're just like two little white girls wandering around Bangkok. And this guy came up to us on the street corner and would just so clearly and politely was like, "Are you lost? Would you like some help?" And he pointed us in the direction of a really great restaurant. We had really good dim sum, and we went out and had drinks later at another person's recommendation, and it was a great experience. Like, it was so friendly and so unexpected, but so appreciated.
I know, sometimes it's like a little can go a long way if someone, it's like, hey, you know what, you look lost, like maybe I can help you. If you could live, I mean, obviously you traveled all over, but if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I could live anywhere. I think there are many different places that I would like to live, but for now, I still feel like I have this kind of, it's definitely not unexplored, but it's still, I feel like there's more to be uncovered, like a little bit of an obsession with Japan still. So I think I would definitely live there, although I don't know if I would live in Tokyo, probably on the outskirts. But like, there's a really cute place. My friend has family in a place called Saitama, and it's really nice. And it's super easy to get to Tokyo. You have access to everything. I mean, the public transportation there is incredible, so you could really get anywhere and do anything you want, like at any time. So that's probably a place I would like to live.
I would say, what's your favorite part about Japan? Because I feel like it's probably a really intense place for people to go visit. So what appeals to you about Japan?
I really enjoy the food. That's a big one. The food is really good. The fish is so fresh and delicious. Like, if you can go to the fish market in the morning and get sushi, it's like the best thing ever. And I'll give you a little story about that. That's pretty embarrassing. I was out at a bar, and bars don't close until 5 a.m. in Tokyo. Yeah, woo, party! It's like we're not ready. Like Americans are not ready for that kind of party. But we tried our best to keep up. So the sun is rising, we leave the bar, and one of my friends is like, let's go to Tsukiji. Let's go to the fish market. It's opening right now. So we just take a taxi, roll up to the fish market, just hammered. And there are people who are like clearly responsible adults who planned this and woke up and are like dressed normally, standing in line, and we're like in club outfits, like
it's like a weird version
makeup.
of like the walk of shame
in a weird way. Embarrassing, but worth it. Best drunk meal I've ever had.
That's amazing. So let's talk about your boyfriend a little bit. So he is over in Korea. So you guys are obviously in a long distance relationship, and we were talking a little bit about this backstage, but how do you kind of, what are your best tips for someone who's like in a long distance relationship, or how to keep that bond strong when you're not close to each other?
I mean, it's really tough. I mean, the biggest thing, and I've talked about this, I don't know if you guys have seen, I did a small video about long distance and the trials of that sort of lifestyle, that relationship choice. Communication is probably the biggest thing, I would say, and that's important for really any human relationship. But for me and for Chase, it's just so nice, and like I don't know how people did long distance before we had any technology. Like, I can't even imagine waiting months to hear from someone. But for us, it's kind of just the little things, and sharing sort of small details about your day with the other person, the way you would with someone who were around you. It's almost like we're having an ongoing conversation. So, sending a picture of my dog, or him sending me a picture of his cat, which is the majority of our conversation, to be honest, during the day. But it's just nice to kind of feel supported, and if I know he's going to a meeting or he has something going on that day, like a specific thing he's been nervous about, I say, how is this? Like, or good luck with that. And it keeps things feeling very current and close, even though it's very far and not happening at the same time at all. But yeah, communication is a huge one.
The story of how you guys are together is incredible, and I would love for you to tell everybody because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I talked about this also in a video, so if you saw my Q&A, I'm sorry that you're going to hear this again now. But yeah, we actually dated in college in 2007. I was a freshman, and he was a senior at FSU, and he dumped me. and it was devastating. He dumped me when he graduated, and he was like, yeah, you know, I just don't want to hold you back. You've got your whole life ahead of you. You're so young. Like, I don't want you to be spending the rest of your college career waiting for me, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I thought he was just like being a dick. I thought he just didn't want to be with me and didn't want to tell me that. Turns out he was actually just being a nice person. So unbeknownst to me, he moved to Korea, and I got married in 2011, and I didn't speak to Chase for probably 5 years. And then in 2014, when my marriage was ending, I had a couple really great friends invite me on a trip to Fiji to kind of get my mind off things and give me some content, give me some vlog stuff going on. Like, let's go on an island vacation, girls trip, let's get away. So I agreed to that, and my itinerary coming back home included a 20-hour layover in Seoul. And I don't speak Korean. I didn't know anyone in Korea at the time, so I thought. And my mom is probably the most well-informed mom on the internet, and somehow was still friends with my ex-boyfriend's sister on Facebook, also unbeknownst to me. And she told me that he was living there, and said, well, if you're gonna be there and you can't change your flight, then you might as well just reach out to him. Like, what's the worst that could happen? You guys haven't talked in forever. Just see what he says. And he was a little surprised to hear from me after 5 years. But yeah, we met up for dinner and have been dating for 2 years.
That's like internet stalking. Like
it's like kind of a crazy.
That's
story.
like the good that internet stalking can do. Not all internet stalking is good, but
I know. I'm like, Mom, this is the one time. I'll let it slide, okay? Thank you for the hookup, Ma. But you gotta chill with that.
So in addition to all your traveling, you also do a fun drunk gaming series. So what are some of your favorite memories and moments from doing those?
Well, I don't have many, to be honest. No, a lot of people actually think we don't get drunk, and it's so surprising to me. I'm like, you guys can't tell that I like can't even string together a sentence. I guess, you know, the power of editing. Honestly, for me, drunk gaming it's about a lot of things. Like on the surface, it's about games, which I love. It's about interacting with you guys, which I also love. And it's about drinking, which I also love. But underneath all of that, it's about the fact that my brother's like one of the best people that I know, and he's my best friend. Like, I love him so much. And we weren't always close, but we, you know, after college, we settled down a little and realized that we supported each other's weirdness and knew each other better than anyone else. And it's about just being able to hang out with him and do what we love and share that and make people happy and make people laugh. And I'm so glad that we are able to do that. And I mean, one of my favorite moments, I do actually have one. My brother, like, in the middle of playing Super Monkey Ball, it was like the end of the episode. We were trying to end it, and it took so long. We had to do so many takes because neither one of us could get it right. And he just starts talking about Christmas. This was like a couple months ago. He's just like, yeah, you know, like, I don't even remember exactly the quote. It's in one of the videos. It's in like the end, like a little blooper section, and he just starts going off about the holidays, and it was the most random crap that has ever happened, and it just kind of reaffirmed that I love him and all of his weirdness, and like I would never be comfortable being that way with like anyone else. So we share many of those strange moments during drunk gaming.
If you could have a drink with any celebrity, living or dead, who would it be and why?
This is so hard. Okay, any celebrity, living or dead. God, that's such a tough question. I don't know if this would be my answer forever, but maybe Wes Anderson.
Oh, okay.
He's just such an interesting dude.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the stuff that he makes. And I feel like I don't know that much about him, even though I really enjoy his work. So that would be a pretty interesting experience, and I would like to pick his brain about his creative process, because I really enjoy kind of all his attention to detail. I love his music choices. I love his, casting choices. So it would be pretty cool to be able to chat with him about that.
Respectable answer. Okay, so let's take a look at Twitter and see. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, did we? I think I might have kicked that over a long time ago. Maybe we don't have any questions.
Let's see. Let's take a look. What has been the biggest lesson? This is from Martha. What has been the biggest lesson you've learned or the biggest impact on you from you and Chico finding each other?
Oh my God, don't make me cry. Jeez, you're like, ugh, okay. Sorry.
Oh my God, it's okay.
That like no matter how messed up you feel like you are, or like if you feel discarded, or if you feel like you've just had kind of shit luck, that there is someone who will see you for who you are and love you anyway and give you the attention and the respect and the time that you deserve. Sorry.
No, that's a minimum. No.
This is your fault. Like, I'm coming for you.
I feel like Oprah, like someone's like crying to me. This is.
Do we all get a car?
Yeah, everybody gets a car. We'll take one more.
That was
Hopefully-
unexpected. I told you guys, I cry all the time. You know this.
This one is from Michael. Michael.
Please
Mikey
let it be
to
less
go
intense.
too. Do you speak any other languages aside from English? Is it hard to travel knowing only one language? If so.
I think there definitely is an advantage to having a little bit of background information with foreign language when you're going somewhere, even if it's just small things like a please, a thank you, a hello, what is this? That's a pretty good one to know. And yeah, I do speak a little bit of other languages. I'm even hesitant to say I speak Spanish, to be honest. I forget words all the time. My vocabulary is terrible. But Japanese was something that I was super interested in college, so I studied Japanese for about a year. I studied French and Italian.
Oh, lovely. Okay, I think it's time to take the instant challenge.
Okay.
How about that?
I feel like I'm like, hopefully I don't have mascara streaming down my face.
You are fine. I'll say you go ahead and open the box.
Okay.
See what's inside. We'll find out together.
Hold on. I'm going to show you first. Is it cool? What is it? Oh, it's cool. Okay. Tell us about your worst. This is tell us about your worst traveling nightmare. Okay.
I mean, that car one sounded pretty bad.
No, I've got a worse one. But I've also talked about this. I was in Cambodia, and I did a little food challenge where I had to eat bugs. And I thought I was brilliant. I had a couple cocktails. I was like, look, guys, I can do this. Like, I'm going to nail this. We got to eat several. We had a choice to eat, like, either the normal thing or the bug, which bugs are normal to them. It's high protein. They love them. They're delicious, some of them. So, of course, we were all, like, having drinks, and we're like, oh, we'll pick the crazy thing. Like, what is this bug? We're going to eat this one. So the final bug round was these gigantic water bugs that looked like really shiny, gross, hard cockroaches. And I thought that it would be brilliant to just swallow them whole instead of trying to chew them, because I was like, if I have to bite into this and feel this crunch, I'm not going to make it. I'm sorry. I see you. This is very cringy. I apologize. Just don't listen for now. So I swallowed 6 of them whole. I threw up 3 that night, and they were still intact. I'm like, that's weird. My body didn't digest them. And then the next day, I felt really sick. We were on our way to the airport, headed to Ho Chi Minh City. We were going to Vietnam from Siem Reap, and I pooped out the other bugs, like entire bugs. Not pieces, whole bugs came out of my bum, and it was disgusting. I've already talked about this. Like, I have no shame. This is already on the internet. So that was a travel nightmare, and I don't recommend swallowing bugs whole for that reason, unless that's something that you feel like would be an interesting experience for you.
I feel like there's no better note to end this interview than on pooping out whole bugs.
Yeah, you're welcome for that.
There you go. So exciting, right?
That was sort of beautiful.
The power of YouTube.